Hey friends, my name is Sherry Sutton and I am your marketing mentor. So I'm trying to figure out how to go live on Instagram and all the places. Anyway, so are there things in your business that you don't want to do, but you know you're supposed to? So for me, those things that I don't want to do, that I know that I'm supposed to do, is picking up the phone and calling people, right? Like it's the follow ups, it's the connecting. And I love to connect with people, but I really like to do it virtually. And I know, though, that there is an additional level of connection with people, which is like just picking up the phone, sending an extra note, right? I tend to fall back on doing marketing things and creating new content as opposed to doing that follow up. And so for me, that's one of those things that I just don't want to do in my business. The other one is accounting. I don't like doing. So I wanted to spend a few minutes today talking to you about how to get yourself to do the things that you don't want to do. And I've got 3 points. The first point is always come back to your vision. When you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to do that, or oh, I don't like it, right? Generally, the reason why we don't like things is because we're uncomfortable, right? Where it's not our skill set. For me, I don't like making phone calls because I feel kind of dorky all the time, right? And I actually struggle with some social interactions, and so I feel kind of dorky all the time. So but when I find that, when I come back to my vision of, okay, I believe in helping people find their true authentic selves and live a fully embodied life. And the only way I believe you can do that is through entrepreneurship. But I want to help people to do that, right? Not only to figure out what they want to do, but then to build an actual business out of it that's purposeful and profitable. So I always go back to that vision when I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about whatever it is I need to do. For each of us, it's different things. It could be reels, it could be accounting, it could be calling people like it is for me. Whatever that is, the first thing I always recommend is to go back to your vision. The second thing that I recommend is to block time on your calendar to get it done, especially for things that you don't like doing. If it's not on your calendar and you haven't dedicated to yourself that, okay, between 2 and 3 o'clock today, I'm going to do the thing that I don't like doing, whatever that is. If you don't have that time set aside and committed, it will never happen. If you're like, oh, I'll fit it in between other things, it won't happen, right? I will sit and create content all day long, or I will create graphics all day long, or I will help my customers all day long, and I will never go back and do some of that business follow-up that I need to do. So I have to block it off on my calendar. When you do, try not to block all day for it, because that's just going to cause you to feel like you're going to have a miserable day. So I try to block, even if it's just an hour. I find it takes me at least an hour to get kind of anything done by the time I ramp up, right? It takes us 20 minutes to ramp up from one activity to another. So I like to give myself an hour to get those things done. So my first piece of advice is to always go back to your vision, and hopefully that will shake you out of your, I'm feeling uncomfortable. The second thing is to time block. And the third thing is, sometimes there are certain things that you just will never do. Now, some of those things are things that you should do, that you cannot outsource. However, there are times where there are things that you hate doing, that doing them is so taxing and awful that you're taking time and emotional energy away from the things that you could be doing to grow your business. You might want to think about outsourcing those. And it really depends. I'm working on a training right now on like how to decide whether or not to outsource things. And it's kind of complicated. I'm not going to go into all of it now, but if there's something that you need to do that isn't customer facing, that isn't something that's required as the face of your brand, then those are things that you can absolutely outsource. So I mentioned earlier, I don't like doing finances. I have, like some money baggage, and yes, I've worked on all the mindset stuff, and I'm working through all that stuff, but I just hate it. I don't like spreadsheets. I don't like doing any of that stuff. And so that's something that I can outsource. I know it's something I need to do for my business. I have a very strong commitment to paying my taxes, but it's not really something that's going to drive my business forward. And it's not something that I have to do, right? I have to make phone calls. I have to do reels. I have to do lives like this. I have to, do some of those things as the face of my brand. But there are a lot of other things that you don't have to do. And so finding ways to outsource some of those things so that you have the emotional energy to block the time to do the things that you also don't want to do necessarily, but that you need to do as the face of your brand. So I hope that was helpful. I know I hear from people all the time, like, oh, I don't want to do these things. And I get it. I just went through it. The last hour I sat and in my pity party for a few minutes about that I didn't want to do something. So I know I'm not alone in not wanting to do things, and that's okay. Right? We all have things as a business that we don't want to do, right? We all have things as people that we don't really want to do, right? Like I want to have J-Lo's butt without working out, but I can't have J-Lo's butt unless I work out. And so I have to make a decision. If I want that bad enough, then that's something that I need to do. So anyway. Someone's going to clip that and put that out there as a funny little meme. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any other topics that you'd like me to go live on, anything having to do with business growth, being the face of your brand, showing up authenticity. I am here to serve you as your business growth guide, and I hope you have a great day. Mwah.